Okay, so working with the Media Milwaukee special project sites. The first thing that you're going to want to do is go to the URL of the special project site. Now, this is not regular Media Milwaukee. It is a subdomain, which is this, off of Media Milwaukee. So that will be posted to D2L or sent out in an email. That's how you'll know what your URL is for your special project site. So in this case, I'm working with the site for the California trip. The URL for that is california2019.mediamilwaukee.com. So this is the non-logged in version of what the site will look like until it's live. So you go to the URL and this is what you see. Now, how do you log in? Well, the first thing that you have to do is reset your password. And remember, this is not synced up with all of your other UWM stuff. So when you create a password for this site, it is not changing your password to Outlook or Canvas or D2L or any of that other UWM stuff. It only affects this particular site. So you go to the URL, and when we have these sort of under construction things on the site, a nice little handy feature is you just find this little WordPress W, and you click on that, and that takes you to the login screen. Now, the thing is, you don't have a password yet, so what you have to do is a password reset, and you do that to create your password. So you go here, go to the login screen, and instead of just entering your UWM email address and your normal UWM password, what you're going to do is click Lost Your Password. And then you're going to enter your UWM email address in here, and you click Get New Password. Then you get a password reset email sent to your UWM email. Just follow the instructions there to do the password reset. It will give you a long, ridiculous password by default. You do not have to use that one. You delete that one, the one that it's giving you by default, and you enter your own password in that field. It will have to be a strong password, though. I installed a plugin that makes you use a strong password, so you can't use a weak or medium password. It must be a strong password. As a side note, it might take up to like anywhere from like 10 minutes to a half hour to get that password reset email. If you haven't gotten one and it's been longer than that, let me know. We'll figure something else out. So once you've reset your password, you could either from this screen click login, or again, if you're looking at the home page of the special project site, you can just click on this icon right here, and then you'll log in using your UWM email address and that password that you created when you did the password reset. And then once you're logged in, you'll see something that kind of looks like this. You might see not quite as much stuff over here on the left, but pretty much it will look like this. And when you want to create a post, basically adding a story to the site, you'll go to Posts, Add New, or just Posts, and then click on this. And you will see the new WordPress Editor, which I know a few of you saw this with other special project sites last semester. So some of you are used to this, I'm sure. But it basically looks like this, and everything is a block. And this is, in my opinion, a much better way to add content to a WordPress site. So in most cases, students write up their project ahead of time in Word, which makes sense. So here it is. I've got mine all written up right here, and I'm actually using Hipster Ipsum, which is like lorem ipsum filler text, but it's got a hipster angle to it. So here's my project, and I'm just going to start by just copying and pasting my awesome headline right there into this headline area. I want to make sure that I'm following AP style headline capitalization for that. So I drop it right in there. Now, I purposely kind of did some goofy things here in the Word version of my project. So here I am, and I want to copy and paste this in, but you'll notice that I have images in my Word doc because maybe I was working on this and I thought, oh, well, that would be a good place to put that image or whatever. But what I need to do is I'm only going to copy and paste up to the point where that image is because I kind of have to skip it when I'm copying and pasting stuff in here. So I'm just going to copy this and hop back over here to the site. I click in this area and then I paste that text in there. And you can see what's cool about the new WordPress editor Gutenberg is it detects that these are separate paragraphs, and every single thing in the Gutenberg editor is a block. And so you click within it and you can see you have these arrows for moving things up and down, sort of switching paragraph text to being heading text. So you have these controls for every single block. And in my case, here I am adding my text, and then I get to this image. When you add images to WordPress, you always want to upload the highest quality version of the image that you have, because we're running some plugins here that optimize the images for you. So they kind of smush the images as you upload them, and that means they sort of reduce the quality of the image so that the image can be delivered faster over the internet. And you don't want to start with something that's already been smushed and then smush it again. So bottom line, start with the highest quality image that you have. And so what that means is I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in Word and then control click on an image and say save picture as, and export it from Word as like a PNG or whatever it does by default. Don't do that. Find the original version of the image, which you should have somewhere in your possession, and upload that to the site. So here I am, and I want to do that. I have a couple of options. I can hover over one of these existing blocks and click this add block button and then click image, or I can scroll up here and click this plus sign and say add an image, and then you get one of these boxes. And in my case, my image is not in the media library yet, so I have to click upload and then find wherever that image is. So here I am, I'm going over here to my desktop, and I'm going to go to, let's see here, special project content, and I'm going to choose one of these. So I'll go with what was this one. So I'll hit open. All right, and you can see the original size was like almost 4,000 pixels wide. It is smushing it beyond that. I think it makes it only slightly larger than 2,000 pixels, which is totally fine. But it's smushing it right now. That's what it's doing there. And then once it's done doing that, I will have the ability to choose, do I want it to be, this width, which is wider than the average column width, or like full browser width. So I have these buttons right here. And if I want to go back to regular column width, I just click this again, boom. And right here I would add my caption. So I'll say Baron sign photo Stephen the student, right? Just like that, following that format. Of course, my caption would be probably better than that, hopefully. But that's what I would do there. And now when I want to add the rest of my content, I just click on my Word doc, and then I'm just copying and pasting the rest of my content in there up until this point. So I just go in, click in here, and paste that. You probably do want to read through this once it's been pasted into WordPress. Back in December, I want to say, we did kind of notice that sometimes some of the words would get mushed together, something like this. So you want to watch out for that kind of thing. So do read through your story after you've pasted it into WordPress. Just make sure everything's all good. And now when I want to add more stuff, it's kind of nice with Gutenberg because I can just hop right here, click this add block button, and if I have some audio, say, that I want to add, I just search for the audio block and I click this, and then in my case I want to upload something, and it takes me to the special project, to my folder with everything related to this. So I select that MP3 and I hit open, and boom, this is what it gives me. And then I'll say audio student, boom, just like that. And as I'm working, I'm doing a regular file save, and if I want to look at what I'm working on, which is probably a good idea, I would hit preview, and it opens it up in a new tab. You want to watch out that you don't wind up with a bunch of tabs. You kind of forget which one you started with, so watch out for that. Just hop back to the original one to make your changes. And so I'm looking at this, and I see I probably need a featured image in the background here. And I'm looking through here, making sure that it looks good. I want a good visual rhythm. So I don't want to have, like, here's my featured image and then having an image right here where the second paragraph is. That would look kind of odd. Refer to previous projects. We'll send out some links to those, and you can look at what other students have done with previous projects when it comes to adding all of this stuff. Adding that featured image in the background. I'm going to close this tab, hop back here. You'll notice that as you're working in Gutenberg, you have the block tab over here. So whatever block I have selected, these are the controls for that particular block. Like when I click on this image, now I have all of these options related to the image. You should add alt text to an image that describes what's going on in the image. That is for accessibility purposes and for SEO. So do add alt text right here. One other thing for the text blocks, do not change the font size, do not give it a drop cap, do not change the color of the text. Please don't do any of this stuff. I need to lock this down so that people can't change this. So don't mess with this with the text blocks. Let's see what else. So getting back to the featured image, you want to hop over to the document tab and then scroll down to featured image and choose set featured image, and either upload something new, right, like this, boom, just select your files right here, or select something from the media library. I'm going to select this one and say select, and then you hit save draft. I think all of you guys are set up with the role of contributor, so you won't be able to actually hit publish, but you will be able to preview your work, of course, just by hitting preview. So here we are, opening it up in a new tab. You get a sense of what that looks like. Keep in mind that with these featured images, of course, it should be landscape oriented, so please do not choose a square image or a portrait oriented image. It has to be landscape like this. And do keep in mind that it is decoration, not information. So it does have this kind of like a filter over it so that the text is visible. So, when you're uploading a featured image, it's not something that people are looking at like, oh, what's going on in that image. It's really just a decoration when it's up here at the top. What I do recommend doing is also adding that same image somewhere in your story so that it does have a caption and it does have credits. Probably don't do this though. Don't have it as the first image you see right as you're scrolling down. Try to kind of spice things up a little bit. Do a different image right here if this was really your project. And don't do it, I would say don't do it as like also the full column width or the full browser width. If it's your featured image, maybe do text column width or the sort of medium width, which goes out to about here. And the reason I stress this, or another reason that I stress this is, you have to keep in mind what this will look like on like an iPad or a phone, which is you get a sense of that by sort of shrinking this down like so, and you're kind of seeing, okay, that's kind of like a Facebook cover image, that kind of thing. It's just sort of there in the background as decoration, but you scroll down, boom, there's the information version. So do keep that in mind. Let's see, what else? When you're done, I think with your rules, you hit, I want to say, what is it, submit, something along those lines right up here. And then Jessica will go through, read it, look at it, make sure it's all good, and then she'll ultimately publish it. I think for these projects, we're not really doing categories. It's all part of the same site, which we're not using categories, and we're not using tags, so don't worry about adding tags either. You got your Yoast SEO stuff, so do that. Jessica will have a lot more to say about that. That's just going off of what you learned in 320 and subsequent classes that have talked about SEO. So do your SEO stuff. That's kind of the basics of working with a special project site. Let me know if you have any questions.